Hey guys, welcome back. We are doing lesson 27 in phonics today. Our warm-up today is blending and segmenting. So get those blenders ready. All right, so our first word is fat. Fat. Fa-at-ta. How many sounds? 3. Fa-at-ta. Good job. What about the word rough? Rough. Rough. How many sounds? 3. Rough. Good. Let's do the word rat. Ra-at-ta. Ra-at-ta. How many sounds? 3. Ra-at-ta. Good job. What about the word leg? Leg. La-e-g. La-e-g. How many sounds? 3. La-e-g. Good job. Our next word, clean. Clean. Ka-la-e-na. Ka-la-e-na. How many sounds? 4. Ka-la-e-na. Good job. Our next word, frame. Frame. Fa-ra-a-m. Fa-ra-a-m. How many sounds? 4. Fa-ra-a-m. Fa-ra-a-m. Our next word, spike. S-pa-I-k. S-pa-I-k. How many sounds? 4. S-pa-I-k. Good job, guys. And our last word, child. Ch-a-d. 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 How many sounds? 4. Ch-a-d. That's almost a tongue twister. Child. All right, guys. So now let's go into our tricky word cards. Our tricky word cards, and let me get mine out here. All right, guys, our tricky words. Our tricky words. So today, our tricky words, we have 3 of them. 3 of them. Let's start with our first word. This is our first word. How would you pronounce this word? Well, if you were blending it, you would go wa-ha-e-r. Where is the word? Okay, it's pronounced where. Like, where did you get that soda from? So let me write where on the board. Where. All right. Now, I'm going to underline the W and the H because that's the tricky part of the word. It is pronounced what? Like in. Okay. And I'm going to also underline the letters E and the R and the E because that's the other tricky part of the word. You would probably expect these letters to be pronounced e, but they're just pronounced So when you read where, make sure to remember to pronounce the letters WH as W and the letters ERE as where. But when you write where, remember to spell the W, the W sound with WH, and the sound with the ERE. So that is our tricky word, where. Let's look at our next tricky word. Our next tricky word is this word. How would you pronounce that by blending it? Well, if you were blending that word, you would do at, wat. It's actually pronounced what. What did you say? So I'm going to write what on the board. What on the board? I'm going to underline the letters the W and H because it's the tricky part of the word. It's pronounced wa, as in where and why. I'm going to also underline the A because that's the other tricky part of the word. You would probably expect this letter to be pronounced a, but it's pronounced and I'm going to circle the letter T. Why do you think I circled that? Because we pronounce the T in what? So it is the normal spelling for that letter. So remember, when you read the word what, you need to pronounce the letters WH as wa and the letter A as But when you write what, remember to spell the wa sound with the letters WH and the sound with the letter A. We have one more tricky word. This word here. All right. How would you pronounce this by blending it? Well, if I had to blend it, I would do wa, ha, ich. Wa, ha, ich. Which. It's pronounced which, as in which jacket is yours. So let me write which on the board. Which. I'm going to underline the letters W and H because that's the tricky part of this word also, and it's pronounced wa, as in when, where, why, and what. I'm going to circle the letter I because that is exactly how it sounds, is it. So that one is correct. I'm also going to circle the sound CH because that sound is pronounced ch, just like we would expect. So when we read which, remember to pronounce the letters WH as wa, but when you write which, you have to remember to spell the wa sound with WH. So let's practice a minute. Practice a minute. I'm going to show you a word that we had today, and I want you to say the word, and I want you to put it in a sentence. Okay, so let's start with this word. What is this word? This word is what? What? And how can you use that word in a sentence? My example would be, what is that crawling on the floor? What? And the next word, what is this word? It's where. Where? Where are you going today? Is my sentence. Where are you going? This word is which. Which? How would you put that in a sentence? Which one do you like? Now notice, each of these words, what? They asked a question. So these are question words. So anytime you see these type of words, which, where, and what, they are asking a question. So when you're writing those sentences, you would have to put a question mark at the end of your sentence and not a period or an exciting mark. Okay? So let's talk about question words. These words that we had today, we use to ask questions. The question words ask different things, but they help us find out more information. So when we ask a question, our voices go up in pitch, and you can hear it in a voice when someone's asking you a question. So listen to your voice as you're saying the following questions. Where did you go? Why do you like ice cream? What is the color of your eyes? So in speech, you can hear that someone is asking a question or is just making a statement. But in writing, the reader needs to see the punctuation mark to understand that. So like in snapshots, we've seen periods, which are full, complete stops, and exclamation points at the end of sentences, which means they're very excited about something. Well, questions are sentences as well, and they're indicated in writing with a special punctuation mark called a question mark. And this is what a question mark looks like. Is a question mark. Can you hear the word question in the phrase question mark? Yeah. So you have just asked them a question and you answered it. Did you realize that? No. Okay. So I'm going to write some sentences on the board, all right? And they're questions, and I want you to answer them. The first sentence that I'm writing, make this larger so you can see it. Okay. Where did Nat get Bud? Question mark. So where did Nat get Bud? You're right. He got him from the vet. So I'm going to answer my question in a different color. Nat got Bud at the vet. Now notice I made a complete sentence. I just didn't write the vet. I wrote Nat got Bud at the vet. Okay? Also notice this up here in the black is a question, and I put a question mark at the end, and notice here at the beginning it was one of our question words, where. The sentence in red ends with a period because it tells something. But the first sentence up here asks something. So let's look at our next sentence. What did the vet fix on Bud? What did the vet fix on Bud? The vet fixed his leg. Yes. The vet fixed his leg. Now notice we did the exact same thing that we did at the top. This sentence right here in black is asking a question. It has one of our special words, what, there that tells us, hey, it's asking me a question. The sentence in red is telling us a statement. It's telling us how he fixed it, what he did. And we have a period at the end of that sentence. Up here, the word where. So those are two of the words we learned today. They are question words. All right, so let me erase this because we are going to use the board again. Okay, so now we're into the tricky word card portion of our lesson. It says for me to hand out index cards. Well, I can't really do that because you're watching me on a video, all right? And it says to write 6 tricky words on each of the cards. Well, what you can do is, if you'd like, you can write those 6 words on your whiteboard. So get your whiteboard and marker and write these words down. You have the words which to write on your whiteboard. You have the word what to write on your whiteboard. You have the word why to write down. Where to write down. When to write down. And who to write down. Now, I'm going to write those on the board too, just so you will see them. So if I went too fast, that way they will be up there for you to use. Okay, so we have who, where, when, why, what, and which. So you have all 6 of those words up there. All right. That way you can see them there if you need to write them on your board. Okay. Now remember, there are tricky parts with each of these. We know the WH in, I'm going to skip who for right now, with where is just W sound, when is the W sound, why is just the W sound, what is just the W sound, and which for the WH is the W sound also. You come up here to who, you don't hear W, you only hear the H sound. All right, but when you write it, you have to write WHO. Like in where, you only hear the ER, you don't hear the ERE. So you've got to make sure that you write it properly when you're writing it, WHERE. And when, this E acts like an I, not an I, it's spelled E. I sounds, instead of a Y, it sounds like an I. So you need to make sure that you write Y instead of an I. And what, sounds like an O, but it's not an O, okay? So make sure that you are looking at that, excuse me, not an O, a U. It's a, gives the sound, it gives a sound. So make sure that you write it as an A and not a U. And which, make sure it's just the W instead of just a W, but the ICH you hear in those. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up a card and I want you to tell me what the word is, okay? And I want you to repeat that word. I'm going to repeat this word and I'm going to do it with all 6 cards. So what word is that? Which? Which? What word is that? It's what? What word is this? It's why? Why? What word is this? Where? Where? What word is this? When? When? What word is this? Who? Who? Good. So we have who, when, where, why, what, and which, of which all of those are question words. So those are all words that you are going to use when you ask questions of somebody, and then you're going to use that mark that we learned today, the question mark, to put at the end of those sentences. So now I've got some sentences that I have written out, and we're going to try to figure out what word needs to go in that sentence. So I'm going to move it over. Okay, let me fix it, adjust it. Oops. Okay, make sure. Okay. So you should be able to see my sentences up here. They're missing the question word at the beginning. And we've got to figure out which one of these words here is going to go in these sentences here. All right? So let's read over the sentences first, and then we'll come back and try to figure out what word is missing in the sentence. Number 1 says, blank can sing the best. Number 2 says, did the van crash? Number 3 says, did the bell ring? Number 4 says, is the sun hot? Number 5 says, blank dress is black. Number 6 says, is in the bag. So now we've got to figure out what word goes where. So look at number 1. What word could we put there for it to make sense? Well, if you sit there and you start up here on our top list, who? And I'm going to come up here and go, who can sing the best? That sounds good, doesn't it? Makes sense. Could I put where can sing the best? That doesn't make sense at all. When can sing the best? No. Why can sing the best? What can sing the best? Or which can sing the best? Who? Yes, who can sing the best? Good job, guys. Now, I'm not going to write on my, I'm going to place my index cards on there, okay? So that we can use this chart again. Who can sing the best? Good. And you know what I'm going to do also? I'm just going to put a check mark over here showing that I've used that word. Now, look at number 2. Blank did the van crash. So let's look at these words again. Where did the van crash? That does make sense, doesn't it? When did the van crash? That makes kind of sense too. Why did the van crash? That makes sense. What did the van crash? No. Which did the van crash? I think our best bet there would probably be put, where did the van crash? That makes more sense. Where? So let me put that on our page also. Now, you know, if we're not correct, that we can always come back and change our answers, okay? Because we can always reread what we've written out. Let me mark where off. So let's look at number 3. Blank did the bell ring. We could say, when did the bell ring? That makes sense. Why did the bell ring? No. What did the bell ring? No, not really. Which did the bell ring? No. So the one that makes sense is, when did the bell ring? Good. So let me put that one up there for us. When did the bell ring? And I'm going to mark that off also. And let's look at number 4. Blank is the sun hot. Why is the sun hot? What is the sun hot? Or which is the sun hot? Which one makes sense? Why? Why is the sun hot? Good. Why is the sun hot? So I'm going to mark that one off too. Number 5, blank dress is black. What dress is black? Or which dress is black? Which one goes in that sentence? Which? Good. Which dress is black? So I am going to place which in my sentence, and I'm going to mark it off over here. So we're left with one word, and it goes, blank is in the bag. So what's going to go in that sentence? What? Good job, guys. So let's reread our sentences to see if they all make sense. Who can sing the best? Where did the van crash? When did the bell ring? Why is the sun hot? Which dress is black? What is in the bag? Wow, those all make sense. You did a great job on those question words. Now, you do not need to write those down and send those in to me. We did these together as a class, okay? So please don't send them in, but just make sure that you've written words down so you know those words when you see them again. So look at the words again. We have the word who, where, when, why, what, and which. Those would be great words to put on index cards and just do like a flashcard relay with them. Say, Mom, can you help me? It's like, what's this word? What's this word? Okay? Well, thanks for working so hard, and we will see you again tomorrow.